you were lucky. Probably won't want to see me again after this. Let's see what Krishna arranges. And as Sikhi Mahiti Prabhu said, it was a long time since we were... I stayed here for about a month in 1983, I think, something like that. Balabhadra Prabhu, you were here, remember?
Yes.
I ran away, didn't I? I disappeared. There was some call, was there? Call, special call. And Gokula Ranjan, I think. Gokula Ranjan?
He was still here.
He was here then too. I can't remember anyone else, to be honest.
Charadeshna.
Excuse me?
Remember Charadeshna?
Charadeshna was here then, yeah. Our dear godbrother who departed when he left his body last year. Last year. Wonderful book distributor, Sri Prabhupada. Atlanta was famous for distributing books, very famous airport. So, do we have a little kirtan first? Is that okay? Jai Radha Madhava, or what do you normally sing?
Jai Radha Madhava.
I mean, Prabhupada, because Nitai Gaur Sundar, the Danish name? Nitai?
Gaur Nitai.
Just Gaur Nitai. But Prabhupada wanted us to sing that song, isn't it, here? Parakaruna. But we won't sing it because we probably don't know it. I doubt whether most of the devotees here know it. So we just sing Jai. You all know Jai Radha Madhava?
Yes.
Some of you are newcomers, you may not know. Do we have some kind of sheet? I'm sorry, I'm still trying to learn English. I hope you can understand. I'm
American English.
English language. Oxford. You have a sheet with Jai Radha Madhava on the sheet?
Most people know.
But there were 2 or 3 newcomers, first timers. If there is a sheet, then kindly provide it. Otherwise...
They can put on their phone if you look up Parama Karuna.
No, Jai Radha Madhava.
Okay, Jai Radha.
You can put it up on the phone.
There's only 2 or 3 devotees don't know it, apparently. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Those who don't know, there's a little extra word pops up. Listen carefully and you might catch it. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Baba Jaya Giri Paradhari Jaya Giri Paradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Baba Jaya Giri Gopi Jana Baba Jaya Giri Paradhari Jaya Giri Paradhari Gopi Jana Baba Yamuna Tiranachari. I missed the line. Jaya Yasoda Nandana Jaya Bhajana Ranjana Jaya Yasoda Nandana Jaya Bhajana Ranjana Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Jajana Ranjana Jaya Yasoda Nandana Jaya Jajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Jamuna Tiravanashari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Jamuna Tiravanashari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Jamuna Tiravachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Prabhupada ki, Shri Gaurnitai ki, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki, Radha Krishna, Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Jai, Go Premanandi, Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Jai. Oh, well, that wasn't very loud. Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Jai. That's better. Harinam Sankirtan ki! What else? Everything else, ki jai!
Prasad distribution ki.
Prasad distribution, is that what you said? Is it time for prasad? Okay, any questions? Any questions? Come on. Any questions? That's the class is finished. Sikhi Mahiti gave the talk, I did the kirtan, that's it. No questions. Where is he? There he is. He's full of questions and answers. Ask a question, come on.
Please tell us about Srila Prabhupada coming the last time to the West.
The last time. Coming to the West. Depends which part of the world you're in.
London specifically.
London, okay. Because west from here means LA or east. West, east, east, west, whatever. London, okay. Is that all right? I mean, you sure?
Please.
I mean, you probably didn't come here today to hear about that, did you? Is it okay?
Yes.
Temple president said it's okay, so it must be okay. And the previous temple president said it's okay also, so it's definitely okay. And if you say it's okay, it's absolutely okay.
Yeah.
You have a unique perspective.
But what's okay about the UK? The only thing okay about the UK is that Prabhupada came.
Yes.
Otherwise, there's nothing really okay about the UK. Queen of England was okay to some extent, by the way. She had Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. Did you know that?
Wow.
One day, the Queen's personal sculptor, what was his name? I've forgotten. The Queen of England. You remember? Have you heard of her?
Yes.
Queen Elizabeth. She was the Queen for 70 years. Can you believe it? That's quite a long innings. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Beautiful.
Sometimes, you know, you talk for an hour and then no one's understood a word. They don't speak a word of English. Everyone speaks English, right? American English. Yeah, okay. Were you all from India? Well, not all, but most of you are from India? Where are you from? Indians, they're all Indians. We're cowboys, be careful. Yes, we're cowboys. Krishna's a cowboy. So most of you have come here from India? Anyone from East Africa? No, most of you from India.
South Africa.
Who's from South Africa? Oh, from South Africa. Very nice. So, anyway, you become familiar with the world of Iskcon. Many of you, I think you are very familiar with the Hare Krishna movement. Is that right?
Yeah.
Iskcon, whatever. So some of the terms, excuse me, if you need explanation, just let me know, okay? We tend to think that everyone in the world understands what we're talking about sometimes. The interesting thing is half the time we don't understand what we're talking about. We make out like we know it all. Sometimes we're just as, you know, ignorant of, you know, ourselves or where we're really at sometimes. But anyway, we have a little bit of good fortune, all of us, and it's, in one sense, this wonderful request of Shikhi Mahiti Prabhu brings us to the present, not just the past. One of our great acharyas, his name is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and one of his famous, not necessarily famous stanzas was, "Dwell not the past that sleeps, nor ere the future dream at all, but live with times that are with thee, and progress thee shall call." So the wonderful thing about pure devotees of the Lord, material history hasn't passed, and we hope for the future, but spiritual is eternal. Srila Prabhupada is here now. His pastimes are ever fresh, his teachings are eternal. They're relevant, maybe different teachings are relevant at different stages of our growth, but they're eternally relevant. And just to hear about them brings great pleasure. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also describes that to hear about the life and teachings of these eternal associates of the Lord brings satisfaction. We only wish we could have told that to the Rolling Stones. You don't know who they are, those from India. Balabhadra, you know who the Rolling Stones are. Were you a Stones fan?
Yes.
He was a Stones fan. They were a famous English musician group, and their most famous record was, you can sing that, Sikhi Maiti, huh?
Can't get no satisfaction.
I can't get no satisfaction.
And I tried.
Yeah.
And I tried.
Well, even the way we used to listen to them, we would pay a lot of money to go and listen to them, and they still weren't satisfied. If they're not satisfied, how the heck are we supposed to be satisfied? We're giving them all our money and worshipping them, and they're still not satisfied. What do they want? What they want, they don't know. They want Krishna. However, Mick Jagger did provide the marble for the temple in Bury Place, so he did some service. But pastimes. So satisfaction. We all, how many of you would like to feel satisfaction? Anybody? I'll put my glasses on, I can't see any hands at all. You don't want to be satisfied? Some of you don't. You gave up already. Doesn't exist. I don't believe it. A lot of people say that, don't they? It's a fact. I mean, you can't blame them in one sense. It's not surprising. The real satisfaction is, there's a Taoist saying that the Creator has hidden satisfaction or happiness in somewhere you will never look. You look in the air, you look on the land, you look all around you, you look in the sky, you look on the water, you don't find it. People look everywhere else except for inside. Real satisfaction's inside. That doesn't mean you get a knife and look in there. Lord Chaitanya tried to do. No. It means our connection, our relationship with Krishna. This is where relationships in this world are probably the most treasured things in our life. The relationship with your family, friends, maybe country of birth, things you're attached to, your mobile phone, for instance, your body, things you have a relationship with. They're the main source of satisfaction in life. When we lose them, we know what happens. It becomes the opposite. Because that is constitutional. Every living entity is searching for a relationship, a loving relationship. But nobody has it. Only the pure devotees of the Lord, like Srila Prabhupada. They are, you can, coming or going? Coming. Okay. You're all welcome to leave, by the way, don't feel obligated. I won't bite, I got no teeth anyway.
No teeth.
Only false ones. A couple left, and the rest are all false. So don't be afraid. Prabhupada didn't come to get anything, he simply came to give love. Love, not the kind of love that most people conceive of maybe, but real love. That eternal constitutional love which is there in all of our hearts. Love for Krishna. Krishna, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Satikapanai is in our heart, inherent. That tendency, that love for Krishna, just has to be awoken. It's awoken in the association of pure devotees. They have it. You can't give something you don't have. You can refer someone. You can indicate. You can say something, but you can't actually give it. You've got to have it to give it. So to hear about these pure souls who have this love is very satisfying, even at our stage. And it brings confidence, courage. Courage and confidence is not an easy thing on the spiritual path. You're challenged, sometimes by those who are your own families, your own beloved. Maybe your own mind challenges. Society may challenge. Conventional religion may challenge. So many challenges are there. Temptations of various kinds. The courage to take shelter, to persevere in devotional life. And enthusiasm, determination. It's so easy. The word in English, determination, is a very easy word to break down. Terminate means to stop. Determine means not to stop. To be able to continue through thick and thin, ups and downs that we go through in life. You need a lot of determination. And by hearing about pure devotees, when we read, how many of you have read the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita? Put my glasses on again. Not only have I got no teeth, I can't see either. Not many of you. Hands up again if you've read the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. You must have read it, Amarendra. So few of you, come on. Don't you have it here? Some problem? You must hear. Pardon?
It's online also.
On the line. It's on the line, okay. Hanging there with your dirty clothes or what? You've got to wear it. Don't just say it's online. Read it online or on the book. But the best is the book. There's nothing compared to the books. And the books are far more, how do we say?
Personal.
Personal is a good word. Personal. You feel Prabhupada. He's there. He's here with you when you read the book, Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said, I put my ecstasies, and if you want to know me, read my books. So important. Now he's already looking at the watch. Okay, any more questions? I can see Sikimiti looking at his watch very carefully. How long he's going to ramble on. He hasn't even answered my question. This is ridiculous.
Getting messages.
Oh, I thought we were looking at your watch.
I get messages on my watch.
Okay. Already getting complaints online, isn't it? Who invited him to the temple? Yes, this reading the books. I mean, I don't have a book here. There's one at a distance there. Oh, here's one. This must be the temple copy. Yes, it is. It's beaten up. Dirty and beaten up. It's definitely the temple copy. You're lucky it doesn't fall apart when you open it. I'm sure your copy at home is a little bit more in order than this. Do not remove. Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to remove it. You have nothing to worry about that. Even I'm laughing. To get me to laugh, that's quite something. Anyway, there's plenty of them down there. There's a series of 3 of them there. They're all equally good. Anyway, I hope you've all got the books at home, that's all. Anyway, I'm sure you do. You do?
Yes.
Okay, get more. And Prabhupada Book Marathon's coming up soon, so you can always get more and distribute Prabhupada's books. It's the greatest thing you can do, the greatest gift you can give, the greatest service you can do is to give people the association of a pure devotee. And in these books, they're getting this opportunity to associate. Not just with one pure devotee, with many pure devotees, and ultimately through the pure devotees with Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada. So, some of you, Balabhadra Prabhu, were you here when Prabhupada came in 75? So you're also here. So some of you had Prabhupada's association here in Chicago and wherever else you were. But I only saw Prabhupada in 2 places, Mayapur, 3, Vrindavan, and England. And in England, in two places, in 1972 was the first time I saw Prabhupada. I just missed him in 71. Srila Prabhupada had come around about Janmashtami or something, 71. And I came in September, so he just left. And in 72 he came almost every year to London. Almost every year, just missed 1 year from the time of installation. The deities in London were installed in 1969, Radha Londoneshwar. So he came in 1972, and there we fortunately received initiation. And every year he came. So I'll just tell the one thing because that's what you asked. We could say a little bit about other things, but we'll just say the one little bit. We were, of course, coming from an English background, physically. We were generally shy in many ways. And Americans are not so shy, generally. Generally. Is that correct to say?
Yes.
That's a polite way of saying, not so shy. So mostly the influence was when Prabhupada was there, it was mostly the American devotees who were, let's say, taking the lead. As soon as Prabhupada left, of course, they also left. But when Prabhupada was there, they would all turn up, like way around, more so. So mostly it was the American devotees, not exclusively, but mostly. But we were young, behind the scenes type of thing, and that was mostly our relationship with Prabhupada. It wasn't so much of a Srila Prabhupada, here am I type of thing. We would always think how to please Prabhupada. What would he like? And in reality, this is the spiritual world, isn't it? You don't go back to Godhead and sort of announce, here I am, Krishna. I'm here. You know, not at all. Not even with Radharani. You just want to serve the servant, 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 servant. Word of service, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, there was no question of getting paid or rewarded from a material perspective. No question. Because Prabhupada loved. When you feel somebody loves you, how do you feel?
Wonderful.
Pardon?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling, and at least it should be. Of course, we may have our problems, but in a normal situation, it's wonderful that people care for you. They really care for you. They really love you. We may have our problems, and sometimes even someone who loves us has to correct us for our benefit. But when you feel that, then how do you feel? You feel you want to be with that person, and you want to please that person. Persons. Automatically one would feel that mood. There's no cheating involved. You know there's no cheating of any kind. There's no agenda, material. Simply a desire, pure compassion. Simply thinking, we would sometimes, one time we were sitting in the airport, probably 75, and Prabhupada's plane was delayed. And, you know, I don't know much about Atlanta airport, but London airport is very busy also, like Atlanta. And the mezzanine, is the word mezzanine? You know the word mezzanine? Floor, Prabhupada was sitting there because the flight was delayed, so we sat there. There were some chairs and tables, and we sat there waiting. Well, a lot of it was. And Prabhupada was looking out over the veranda, the hundreds and thousands of people wandering around, aimlessly, goodness knows where they're going. And what I felt, I don't know if anyone else felt it, you could feel it was like liquid compassion coming out of Prabhupada's eyes. Crying, crying, crying. He may have been crying for other reasons, but I thought it was because he was so sad to see all these people just running around aimlessly like this, with no real direction, driven by their senses. Of course, we were all young and naive, or call it what you will, but it was a strong feeling which was still there. You can feel that coming through more now than ever before. I think the situation now is even more critical. The temperature is even higher now, like a fever in the world. How Prabhupada would feel, and how much he would like those who somehow or another got this little fortune to pick up on it, to share that with others, to give that to others. Prabhupada's mood. So let's go forward to 77 as Sikhi Mahiti Prabhu asked, the last trip. And if you've read the Sri Prabhupada Leelamrita or other similar accounts, you will know that in 1977, for divine reasons, Srila Prabhupada's health was deteriorating from the external perspective. So much so that practically the body was, Prabhupada would say, it's become quite useless, just a bag of bones and skin. In that condition, Prabhupada was still translating as much as he could. He stopped giving public lectures in about April 77, but he was still sending letters out, translating, giving darshan, seeing his leading disciples, etc., to help to inspire them in their various services around the world, guide them. And all over Iskcon at that time, and I assume here in Atlanta also. But in Europe there was a mad fever amongst the devotees. It was a fever to keep Srila Prabhupada. We wanted Prabhupada to stay, obviously. We couldn't imagine what it was like without his personal presence. We didn't want to think about it. I don't know how you felt. And we went on a marathon, a book marathon, from about April onwards till the end of the year. Full-on book distribution. Every single devotee tried. One book, 1,000 books, whatever it was. Everyone tried to, knowingly that this definitely pleased Srila Prabhupada. So in England, at that time, it was my fortunate service, I was the Sankirtan coordinator. And we had maybe 100 devotees on full-time Sankirtan, and others going out. With the idea that this would bring, Prabhupada said he'd give him life. He said, I live forever like this. Makes him feel like a young man when he would hear the results of the book distribution. And many temples all over the world were trying to increase their book distribution and praying to Krishna, please have mercy and keep Srila Prabhupada here among those lines. And it was just amazing number of books being distributed. Prabhupada, when he would hear about it, I was not there in India. Maybe some of you were. We were in India with Prabhupada in 77. But he wanted to reciprocate the love of his followers. And in that health condition, which was almost, an impossible situation, he had to be carried. It was like, couldn't walk, he was just carried. In August 77, Prabhupada decided he wanted to go to the West. Tamal Krishna Maharaj had suggested it and promised he would take him there. So Prabhupada wanted to go to the West. And he wanted to reciprocate the love of his disciples and followers, how much love they were showing. Voluntarily going out 12 hours a day distributing books. Not 1 hour, 12. Wasn't it?
Yes.
And you didn't feel, how did you feel? How did you feel by doing that?
Inspired.
Inspired. Did you feel cheated?
Never.
Never. You wished you could go out 24, right? You felt Prabhupada right with you, didn't it? You felt the Parampara right with you, Krishna right with you. This is our position. We are eternal servants of the servant of Krishna. That's how we please Krishna, by pleasing his pure devotee, by trying to act in a way which pleases them, which means pleases Krishna. And so we had 3 days notice that Prabhupada was coming to London. And which was, whatever it was. But we've been ignoring other things. We've been fully absorbed in book history, almost everybody. We had 2 programs, main programs. The Bhakta program, which was recruiting new devotees. We had Danavir. Danavir Prabhu was in London at that time. Of course, he was heading up the Bhakta program. We were 4 new boys and girls every month on average, every month without doubt. And half of them would be on full-time book distribution within 2 months or 3 months. So the Sankirtan party was booming, and the new devotees were coming, the temple was vibrant, and everyone's out on Sankirtan district books all over the place. We even had devotees in Iceland. We were poaching someone else's territory. We had devotees everywhere distributing books, just to increase the book distribution somehow or another. It was like a fever. It was a blissful fever. Have you ever had a blissful fever? You want the fever to get even higher? Prabhupada tells a story, you won't tell it, but anyway, it was so ecstatic. Absorption, Prabhupada called it samadhi. Total absorption. So we were, and then we had this notice, it was like, we couldn't believe what we heard in 3 days. There was only about 12 of us left back at the manor, just enough to keep it going. And we knew when Prabhupada would come to a temple, what you had to do. What did you have to do when Prabhupada would come? Remember what it was like when he came. What did you have to do?
Paint.
Paint the walls. That was a common one. Paint the walls, because they'd not been painted since the last, God knows when. If Prabhupada came the year before, you may not have had to do that. But if he hadn't come before, you definitely had to do it. What else did you have to do?
Prabhupada said that wherever I go, I smell fresh paint.
Fresh paint, that's a fact. Fresh paint. Very nice, huh? If you like the smell of fresh paint. What else do you have to do?
Clean.
Clean, pardon?
Clean.
Clean.
Rubbing your knees and saying clean. Is that a result of cleaning? You went down on your hands and knees and now you've got a knee problem. Yes, clean, clean, clean. And I'll tell you frankly, we were not doing it. Very well, put it like that. If you anyone been to Bhaktivedanta Manor in London? 3 or 4, not many, 5, 6, 7. So you know there's one lake there. Have you seen it? In the front of the manor, in the garden, there's one lake. And Prabhupada said we should have Mahavishnu reclining there on the lake, or Shirdaksha, one of them, I can't remember. But Lord Vishnu reclining on the lake.
Is this the one just behind Prabhupada's room?
If you see out the window from Prabhupada's room, there's one lake. Now it depends when you've been to the manor, but if you go now, you'll see there is a form of Lord Vishnu reclining on the island in the lake. There's an island in the middle of the lake. It's not a big lake, it's small. They probably wanted Lord Vishnu lying there. So they've done it now, after 50 years. It took 50 years, but at least it's been done. Prabhupada's desire. So the lake was filthy. It was full of, you know, when you have your Sunday program, I don't know how it works here, but some devotees, they like to decorate the lake with various things, you know, make it look a little bit more varied, you know. It's paper and leftover cups and bottles and bags and you name it. Everything was in there. I don't know how long. But we knew that Prabhupada, we didn't know that Prabhupada was the condition he was in exactly, you see. We thought he was going to do the normal walk around, check everything. When Prabhupada would come to a temple, he would check everything, and sure enough he would find something we didn't do. Why is there dust here? Something like that. We knew that. So we full steam ahead. We called all the devotees back from Sankirtan. Basically, we were to work that day and night. All the leaves all over the footpaths, all over the manor. Garbage, cleaning this, cleaning that, polishing everything. It was a marathon to get ready for Prabhupada's arrival. That was another thing, when you associate with a pure devotee, it shakes us up, isn't it? We can get really lazy, taking it for granted. Now, I'm sure all your houses are spick and span, as we say. I don't know if that term is known in America. Spick and span means perfectly clean. No garbage anywhere, right? No rubbish. Everything's nice and tidy. This is a good meditation. We should always think that, Krishna's here, Prabhupada's here. But just imagine if they were to walk in your door now. Wouldn't it be embarrassing sometimes? Sometimes you're sat there, stretched out, the television's on, dirty cups lying around, not kitchen's a bomb site, toys everywhere. Sometimes it's like that. But that meditation, the Prabhupada immediately doing it would bring us to our senses, and that should always be the case. If we're actually Krishna conscious, we'll always be thinking like that. We could go on and on this topic, but cleanliness was one of Prabhupada's main. One of my godbrothers, and you may know him, Kulashekar Prabhu. He was in LA, he left his body some years ago. You know Kulashekar. He joined in London. He was the first devotee to join in London. He joined in 69, got initiated in 69 by Prabhupada. Whatever else was in his life, you had this thing about cleanliness. Because Prabhupada instilled it in him. He told me when I joined, he said, Prabhupada told me that if I learn nothing else from this movement, even if I go away and not come back, he said, please learn to be clean. Be clean. Cleanliness is godliness. It's not just next to it, it is godliness. Cleanliness, body, mind and spirit. So cleaning, we're all cleaning. Up to neck. I remember Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, you know him? Raghavir in those days. Now Iskcon GBC, Guru, Sannyasi and everything else you can think of. And he was in the lake. He was the master of ceremonies in the lake. He was up to his neck. And this was summer, this was August. Well, Krishna arranged, just to teach us a lesson, to change the weather. And he turned the weather into horrible, cold, rainy weather for 3 days until Prabhupada arrived. It rained and the temperature went down about 10 degrees and it was freezing. No, it wasn't freezing, but it was, for summer it was like that, And being in the lake was no joy in that weather. Or out in the pathways, clearing up all the leaves and branches that had fallen off the trees the year before, during the fall, which had never been cleaned. You hear Prabhupada, why is this mess here? What's this? So, it was really Krishna teaching us a lesson. Don't wait till the last moment. I'll think of Krishna at the time of death, don't worry. It doesn't work like that. You've got to realize death is on our doorstep. Prabhupada said one time, Satsvarup Maharaj, I think, asked him, Prabhupada, how should we chant? He said, you should chant as if this is your last breath.
Wow.
You probably would be a little bit more intent on chanting. Not that we should be all the time paranoid. This is my last breath. I do my last breath. But the mentality, the consciousness, that we can't take it for granted. Serious business. Prabhupada would invoke that in a loving way. So we did what we could to get the manor in ship shape. And then the time came, of course, the day before, we're trying to get a vehicle. At most, we didn't have a suitable vehicle. George Harrison was not in the country. And it happened to be some kind of, I don't know what, some festival in London. I don't know what it was, but there was some big thing going on. We couldn't get a decent car by, when we say a decent car, I mean, in England it means a Rolls Royce or a Bentley or at least a Jaguar. We couldn't get anything. We eventually managed to get a Rover, if you've ever heard of a Rover. It's not a dog, it's a car. It's like a upper middle class car. Upper middle class, it's not first class, it's upper middle. Kind of, not bad. And this one was the latest model, so it was kind of pretty new. We managed to rent one. And, I was asked to drive the Rover to the airport to pick Prabhupada up. And, I'm probably more experienced than most of those who are driving in the UK at that time. And, but I never realized that such a thing as an automatic car existed. I'd never seen one before. Everything in England was, gear stick. Even today, many in Europe, most of the cars are gear stick. I think in America it's mostly automatic, isn't it? So this was a new car, and it was an automatic, and I'd never driven one. I put my foot on the clutch, and it happened to be the accelerator. Oh, this was on the way to the airport, not on the way back. Thank God. I was a bag of nerves by the time I got to the airport. It was like, to recondition yourself on a condition like that was not easy, I'll tell you. Very difficult. On the main road, you're not like in the backs, practicing. You're on the road. I was so nervous, Prabhupada. And then, so I got to the airport somehow or another, waiting there. Not many devotees went to the airport. I think only one other car, because Prabhupada, we were told not to come to the airport. Prabhupada had to be coming a peaceful arrival. So I got to the airport and waiting outside the terminal, right in front of the terminal. Somebody was arranging for us to be able to do that. And then, I didn't know who was coming with Prabhupada. But it was a bit of a shock seeing Prabhupada, the way he looked. But more of a shock was the fact that Tamal Krishna Maharaj was with him.
Oh.
Why do I say that? Well, if anyone who knew Tamal Krishna Maharaj in 1977, you'll know why that was a shock. Well, here I am, this little nobody, driving this car that I don't know how to drive. With, Srila Prabhupada and Tamal Krishna Maharaj in the car. And I was like frozen almost. We had a little knowledge of Tamal Krishna Maharaj and the experience. He was an amazing devotee, but he had this tendency of, I won't say, what would you say? Being a little bit heavy sometimes, put it like that. Yeah, he was the heavy manifestation of in his own way, you could say. And so I was quite worried about that one. But anyway, Prabhupada was in the back seat, and I was driving, so I didn't really have a chance to look back. I was just fixed on the road and concentrating 100% on what I was trying to do, to drive this car with Srila Prabhupada. A bit like our life, really. We don't really know how to do it. We're just trying our best and focusing on doing it for Prabhupada, for his comfort. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was sat in the front seat. And I think it was Shruti Kirti maybe in the back, I can't remember. Maybe it was Upendra, I can't remember. Somebody was with Prabhupada in the back also. Maybe Upendra. And driving along somehow or another, we're going smoothly to the manor. Krishna was very kind. But Prabhupada started to ask questions. True to know, because he could hardly speak, so he was Tamal would be stretching his neck backwards, thank God. He was stretching most of the time, he had his neck back towards Prabhupada. He couldn't see what I was doing, so stretching his neck backwards, and Prabhupada whispering, and he'd say to me, Srila Prabhupada wants to know something. And I'm trying to concentrate on driving. And Tamal Krishna's Maharaj is asking me, Prabhupada wants to know, how are the cows Bhaktivedanta Manor? Now, we were doing tens of thousands of big books every week. Every day we do about 5,000 or something. It was ridiculous. And we're making devotees left, right and center. And Prabhupada's asking, how are the cows? I was like, am I dreaming or what, you know? How are the cows? We have some cows, that's about all I knew. I had no idea. And I don't even remember what I said. I said something. Then he said, how much milk are they giving? I had no idea. Who's looking after them? I had no idea. How many are there? I had no idea. None. I couldn't believe it. The Prabhupada, in this situation, is asking about the cows in the car going to Bhaktivedanta Manor. There was no mention of cows. You know, never came up in any of our, interactions amongst the devotees. There was just one devotee looking after the cows somewhere in the field out there. And that's all we knew, I had no idea what they were, who they were, what they were, men or boys, or boy cows or girl cows. We had no idea. We didn't even know the difference between a bullock and a cow. They're all the same, Right? Still to this day, most people don't know the difference. They say, oh, that's a beautiful cow, it's a bull, don't go too close. And no, it was like, what can I say? It was, again, it's another wake-up call, embarrassment, of how dear the cows are to Prabhupada. Why? Because they're the dearest to Krishna. They're so dear to Krishna. Even the Bhagavatam we read that of all living entities, the Brahmins and the cows are the two most dear to the Lord in this world at least, and in the spiritual world we can say. And he said of the two, the cow is the most important. So dear to the Lord. People don't understand. They say, why do you worship a cow? Why do you worship anything? Why do you worship your country or anything? Why? Why do you worship something your child likes? Because they're dear to Krishna. It's not our business to say why. Krishna loves them and they love Krishna. We can analyze it by many things, mother, milk, this, that, the other. But ultimately it's because they love Krishna and Krishna loves the cows. Loving reciprocation. Pure devotee sees them all as representatives of that relationship. Well, Prabhupada, I didn't really understand. There was no more said about it. Tamal Krishna Maharaj didn't follow up. And someone other, and miraculously, by the way, during this session, I was trying to concentrate. I kind of lost a little bit of focus. I put my foot on the wrong pedal. And at the roundabout, do you have roundabouts here? Yeah. Instead of the brake, I put it on the accelerator, and I went straight into the roundabout. And luckily the car's coming the other way. And this is true. You're guilty of this, whatever you want to call it. Krishna alone protected us. Could have been the most, condemned person on the planet. Literally. I just didn't know what was going on, it was just happened. It was really smooth, nobody noticed, It was like a real smooth entry and roundabout. But not everybody felt the same way about that. In the car we did. Krishna's alone protecting us. We make a lot of mistakes in life. It's only by the mercy of pure devotees and Krishna that we have any hope of protection. So we managed to arrive at the manor, and Prabhupada was taken, of course, to his room. And I wasn't one of the inner core at that time. All the big devotees from Europe and some from America were there. who were just one of the general devotees in a sense, one of the manor devotees. The Prabhupada was coming down in the morning for darshan. He didn't give any classes. He gave a little darshan in his room, but very little. Went to one or two, but very small, very little. And he came down every day for daily reading. In the beginning, he stayed for Guru Puja. And devotees would arrive from Germany and France and different places. Maybe they knew it was maybe the last time we'd get the darshan. Devotees came. Many, hundreds of devotees were there, hundreds and hundreds. And Prabhupada, during the daily reading, he would be looking at Radha Gokulananda and crying. Whatever people say, Jai Tirtha had become LGBC and had done an amazing job of decorating the temple, building, not outside, but the building itself. New wallpaper on the walls, there was no need to paint, it was beautiful gold wallpaper. Retiled the floor, it looked quite nice inside. Prabhupada was so pleased with the daily worship. He was so pleased with the book distribution. He was so pleased with all the new devotees who were there. He was definitely pleased with all of that. And he was very much grateful, he said, to Jai Tirtha. He even indicated he'd be happy to leave his body right there and then in front of Radha Gokulananda. He only did that for a few days. After a few days, he came down for darshan and would go back on a palanquin. They would be carrying him up and down the stairs on a palanquin. And then for a few days, he did that. And he stopped coming for Guru Puja. He would go back. He said he couldn't bear the love of his disciples. It was overwhelming him, the emotion. So he would be in his room mostly, we hardly saw him. During that period he had one health crisis, if that's what you want to say, in his urinary tract. And we didn't know what was going on, we were all scared, we thought he was, finished, or what, we didn't know what. He was taken off to hospital. That's another scene you can hear about. We read the same thing and hear the same thing that you do. And the doctor in the hospital in Watford was a really nice man. He really appreciated Prabhupada. And he released the pressure there. Some small surgery was done, very small. But then Prabhupada's health really went down. And he decided he was going to go back to India. He intended, one of the reasons he was talking about the cows we discovered was what was on Prabhupada's mind. Excuse me?
Gita Nagari.
Gita Nagari. Why? Varna Ashram was on his mind strongly. And he talked a lot about it in his darshans, apparently, about the importance of this inner movement. Not just for society, but in our movement, whatever form it took. He wanted to help us, to show us how to establish Varnashram within the movement. And Gita Nagari was the place he considered was the right place. But he didn't go, physically. And during that time also, of course, we normally when how many of you are initiated? Now don't feel wrong or good or bad about it, but how many of you are initiated? Can you put your hands up? Quite a few. Anybody initiated by Jayapataka Maharaj? Quite a few. Bhakti Churu Maharaj, Lokanath Maharaj. Who else? Radha Govinda Maharaj. Who else? Radhanath Maharaj. So whatever, initiated. When your guru comes, what do? When you say he comes to your house or you're in the temple you're serving and he's coming to the temple, what do you do? What do you do? Pardon? Pay obeisances, okay. Maybe that, how long does that take? 30 seconds? Huh? What else do you do? that all you do? Serve him. How do you serve him?
Nice greeting.
Greeting him, okay. Is that it? Finished? Then he's in his room on his own for the rest of the stay? What else do you
First
do?
stage.
Huh?
First beginning stage.
Excuse me?
First thing. Nice greeting.
Greeting?
When he arrives,
Yeah, you greet him. Then what do you do?
Cooking.
Huh?
Cooking.
Cooking. Oh, he said cooking. You cook.
Kirtan.
Kirtan. Okay, you have kirtan. That depends, time and circumstance, but generally kirtan. And then you cook, ladies especially. Sometimes there's like 30, 40 devotees. I've seen, maybe not here, in Malaysia we have a lot of experience of worked for Jazz Takamash for 15 years almost. And when he comes, at least 20, 30 ladies are in the kitchen cooking. There are at least 200 preparations, maybe each 3 or 4, but they're cooking numerous preparations. Opulence. Now of course it's changed now, it's health being what it is, but this is back in the 80s. So much energy goes into it. It's very nice. But one wonders, that wasn't the case when Prabhupada was present, by the way. That wasn't the case. Were you in Chicago when Pragosh wanted to cook for Prabhupada?
I don't remember who wanted to cook when I was in Chicago.
Pragosh, the American Pragosh, not the English one.
Yeah, the American.
Book distributor. He said that one day he stayed back to cook, and he brought the plate in for Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I cook for you, Prabhupada." Prabhupada said, "Anyone can cook for me. You should be on book distribution." And Prabhupada had the same diet every day, same thing. It was a servant generally would cook, or he'd supervise someone to cook. Same thing every day. You cook openly for Krishna. Isn't it? He wanted us to cook numerous preparations to offer the deity. If you could cook, that was his mood. In fact, he sent it away. And special occasions, like his birthday, was different, of course. And he did, by the way, he spent his birthday there in the manor that year. That was his last Vyasa Puja, his last Janmashtami also, in the Western world, and in the world, his last Janmashtami. I can't remember, I think he gave a small address on Janmashtami Day, and he came down for his Vyasa Puja, and he sat there on the Vyasa San for hours on his Vyasa Puja. And during that time, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who was an exceptional devotee, despite some rough edges or whatever you want to call it, but an exceptional disciple of Prabhupada, Prabhupada asked him to give the speech. And for maybe, I don't know how long it was absolutely mesmerizing. I don't even know I never heard a recording of that speech. I don't even think it was recorded. It was one of the most, other than Srila Prabhupada himself, the most captivating, dynamic, transcendental speeches I've ever heard. He was speaking about Prabhupada, of course, his life, his teachings, the effect of his mission and so on. And every now and again, you couldn't hear it, he would just whisper to the devotee servant, corrections or additions like that. It was interacting going on. And the temple was packed and everyone was just glued to the spot for an hour or two as Tamal Krishna Maharaj was glorifying Prabhupada. It was really a transcendental experience indeed, which really made one feel eternally indebted and bound to Srila Prabhupada. What else is there to do? Who else are you going to serve? No one. I've got a watch. I think you're offering me a watch. It's perfectly good. It's a Casio. It's your fault. You asked the question. And excuse me if it's... Oh, Damodarastam. Okay, I'll just finish off then. Two last things. Quick ones. So in the morning, the devotees would send up the book scores every morning to Srila Prabhupada. The day before, London scores. And one of his assistants said, Prabhupada, well, this is, it's too much. We're not gonna, it's not good. We pressurize, put this pressure on you to hear these every day. Prabhupada said quite to the contrary. This is my medicine. This is what I want to hear. How many books are distributing? He wanted to hear it. That was giving him satisfaction, life, encouragement, everything. So that was something very encouraging for all the devotees, of course. The last thing I mentioned, because time is short, is it was his birthday. And Western tradition, and many of you have become westernized, is that on your birthday, what do you get on your birthday? Pardon? A cake. A birthday cake. And what do you put, say it's your 5-year-old son, what do you put on the cake?
Candles.
Candles. How many candles? 5. Because why? He's 5 years old or she's 5 years old, right? You get a cake, you guys, when it's your birthday? Yeah? You give him a cake? Yeah, okay, good. A big one, huh? Is your grandson?
He's my Sankirtan partner.
Sankirtan partner, you've got a good Sankirtan partner there. He's your Sankirtan partner. Yeah, you take him out on Sankirtan sometimes? Good. So the cake says yes, he takes you out sometimes. He wakes you up and preaches to you and gets you out the door. So the cake came in. It's a beautiful cake by those days, standards nowadays, a bit more fancy nowadays. So the cake came in. You know Gaur Chandra, you know his wife. And his wife is an expert cake maker. Unbelievable, she makes cakes. It'll be take another hour, we'll forget that. But the cake came in, and there were candles all over it. As you can imagine. How many candles? 77. When was Prabhupada appeared? 1896. So how many candles? 81. So they put 81 candles on the cake. 81. And then I actually was very close there. I was right next to the Asasan for some reason at that moment that it came in. I can't remember why, but I was. And I heard Prabhupada whisper, he said, how many candles? 81, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, bring one more candle. 82. They had to bring another candle. 82, not 81. Hare Krishna, that's a story in itself. We won't tell it. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. So we're hoping you're all going to get together and distribute lots of books this Christmas marathon for Srila Prabhupada. Okay? It's very easy in this country. I can't believe how easy it is to distribute books in this country. It's like a breeze. You come to France if you want to know how easy book distribution is in America. Isn't it, Mahananda? He knows where it is. So please, this is, if you really want to get Krishna's mercy, if you really want to please your Guru, if you really want to please Srila Prabhupada, if you really want to be satisfied, if you really want to go back to Godhead, try to imbibe the mood of the pure devotee who comes into this world to give us this opportunity. Don't miss it. Even if you give them away to your relatives, get some books, isn't it? You can distribute to your relatives, to your friends, to your enemies, to anyone you like. Your shopkeeper. Just buy some books from the temple. If you have, hope you have a stock of books. And if you haven't, Krishna Life has lots of books down there. They just got a big stocking. Get some books. Distribute the books. Distribute this mercy. Awaken love, awaken compassion in your hearts by sharing this association with others. He's just as alive now as ever. He's not, the Prabhupada has not left. He's still here in his presence in the form of his instructions, in his books, and so many other ways. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Haribo. Haribo. Auction. Who would like to get this historic Vishnu? Here. We can have a quick auction. Any offers for this? This is a book. You can they take it away? We'll give you a new. I'll give you a new one.
We got new one.
You've got new. Well, any offers? Come on, this is a special offer.
You signed it.
Huh?
You signed it?
Huh? Well, it's got Prabhupada's already in there. I can sign it as well if that makes any difference, especially on the first cover. It's beautiful. Hare Krishna.
Maybe if anybody wants Gita from Maharaj, will come later.
Hey, what you doing here? What you doing here? Where you came from? I didn't know you were here. What you doing here? Hey? Huh? Huh?
I've been here for a long time now.
Really? Oh my
Nice to
goodness.
see you.
Oh my goodness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, I remember you in India.
Maharaj, well.
Huh?